I was pissed. I was so upset. Like, me and God definitely have some words. Hey beautiful people, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. But if you've been here before, hey girl, hey, it's nice to see you again. As you all can see by the title, we're about to get into some things, honey. I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely a little nervous to do this video because it's just extremely personal, and like being vulnerable on the internet sometimes can just feel uncomfortable. But when God puts on your heart to share certain things, you just never know like who it can help, who's struggling with the same thing. And I think I'm just really tired of some of my content just feeling surface level. Like, I really want to go into 2024 just being real and like connecting with you guys and being transparent, because oftentimes when I'm going through stuff, I turn to YouTube or TikTok to like seek out other people who are going through similar experiences. And it's comforting to know I'm not alone. So we're going to be getting into the behind the scenes of my life this year in 2023. Well, by the time you all will see this, it'll be last year. So happy new year. And we're just going to do like a little recap of 2023. It's probably going to be a long video, so get you some tea, coffee, water, wine, honey, whatever your preference is. I just have my water here. And we're going to do a little makeup because makeup is comforting to me. And if I'm about to be divulging all this information, I definitely want to be in a space that's comfortable. So I'm not going to focus on any of the products. I'm just going to do my makeup and talk to y'all. If I remember, I'll have everything linked in the description box. So if you're like into anything that I put on my face, it'll be down there. So let's get into it. So I haven't posted pretty much for the entire month of December, and that was not by choice. Literally, my laptop just stopped working, and I honestly think that was God's design to really force me to sit down. Like, sometimes when you're just refusing to be still, which isn't always easy to do, especially if you're like someone who prides themselves on being uber productive. Hold on, y'all. My dryer is beeping. Give me 1 second. But yeah, like I was saying, especially if you're someone who prides yourself on being like super productive, sitting down is actually really hard to do. I feel like in 2023, God was really telling me like, you need to slow down. I need your attention. I need your time. And I was so busy just trying to rush through so many things that we're definitely going to talk about that I just couldn't really do that. And so he was like, well, since you're not listening, I'm just going to shut it all down. And my laptop one random day just completely just stopped working. Like, it just wouldn't turn on. It was working fine the day before, and the next day it didn't matter what I did, it just would not turn on and literally died on me. So I couldn't edit anything that I had filmed. So you guys will be getting some older content from 2023, like Q4 2023 that was supposed to be posted will be coming out after this video. But I couldn't do anything, and I was frustrated in the moment. But in reality, looking back now, I'm just like so thankful because God, He knows what's coming ahead of us. He knows when He's going to need our undivided attention for things. And that was what happened in my situation. He knew that what was ahead of me, I wasn't going to be able to manage it all. And so He didn't give me a choice. There were just so many trials and tribulations this year that I wanted to share with y'all, but in the moment I just didn't know how, because once you put it out there, it's out there forever. And certain things are just very sensitive topics when it comes to my family, my faith. The last video that I did where I kind of was open and honest about a dating situation that I had, the goal of that video was so that other women could learn from my mistakes. But y'all, the way that people came from my faith, they called me a fake Christian because of some of the decisions that I had made in my youth. There was just like very little grace. And although it helped a lot of people, that was extremely traumatic. So when God told me to do this video, I was like, I don't know about that. But here we are. To set this home for 2023, we actually have to go back to December of 2022. So back in college, I experienced some sexual assault. I am a rape survivor, and I do plan on telling that story at some point this year, but we're not going to get into that today. It's just a fact of the situation. And so this time last year, we went out to celebrate a close friend's birthday, and I ended up running into the guy who raped me in college. And when I tell you guys that experience brought up just so many mixed emotions, it brought up so many things that I thought I had dealt with, so many things that I thought I had healed from. And I hadn't seen this individual literally since college. I graduated college in 2016. So it's been some years, and I hadn't seen this person, and I kind of just got to the place where I could be a bit more carefree. Like, I didn't have to navigate my life around that event anymore. And to see this person just like on a random night out just brought back a flood of memories and a flood of just emotions. And I was extremely upset. Some things transpired that night, and it really caused a lot of anxiety, as I'm sure you all can imagine. And that night I experienced the worst panic attack that I have ever experienced. Actually, I think that was my first panic attack, and I didn't know what was happening at the time. Like, I literally thought I was having a heart attack. Like, I thought I was gonna die. Like, I couldn't breathe. I was crying and like laughing hysterically. Like, I didn't know what was wrong with me. And it just was extremely, extremely anxiety inducing. And that is how my year started. That's not the ideal way to start off any new year, any new chapter. And I completely was not anticipating to have that experience. I thought I was going to go out, have a good time, celebrate my friend, and go home. So I started off the year with a lot of anxiety. I was experiencing depression and just feeling like paralyzed once again. Like I was trapped in my own city. I didn't want to leave my house anymore. It just was very not a good situation. And then literally a week or so into the new year, we found out that we were pregnant. We were expecting our second child. And as you all can imagine, I'm already experiencing anxiety and depression. And then we get this news that it's supposed to be a joyous moment. It's supposed to be a blessing. And I feel not the greatest about this news. I'm not feeling the greatest just about my life right now. Like, I'm not in a good space. And the way that I kind of knew that I was pregnant, even that was just like God speaking to me. So I had 3 dreams, like a sequence of dreams in one night that revealed to me that I was pregnant. And in one of the dreams, God had revealed that there would be like some complications, but in the dream it wasn't sure if the complications would prevail or if like me and the baby would be okay, but there would be a moment of just like a scary situation essentially during my pregnancy. And that was revealed to me in the very last dream of this sequence. I'm at what is my first doctor's appointment. For whatever reason, my fiance isn't there in this dream. It's my best friends, Rodlette and Charles, that are at this doctor's appointment with me. And we're there, we're waiting for the doctor, and it was like the doctor that I had initially booked with was no longer available. No longer available to see me. She wasn't available to see me at all. She ended up having to call like another doctor that she works with to come take care of me as the patient. And the doctor that ended up coming ended up being a Black woman, and she ended up kind of checking me out, you know, doing the regular checkup stuff when you're pregnant. And she looked over like, okay, let me go and just like look at the results really quick and then I'll be back. For some reason, My best friends, Rala and Charles, end up outside of the patient room, and they're talking, and the doctor's talking to them, and she's like, yeah, I'm so happy that she came to see me, because basically the other doctor is known for like medical racism essentially, and she would not have taken my case as seriously. Like, she basically was explaining to my friends that she foresees a potential issue with the pregnancy, but I had made it into the office, into the appointment soon enough that like it could be course corrected. And then I woke up. And so I wake up and I'm like, what was that? And I kind of already had like an inkling that I could be pregnant, but then those dreams obviously really confirmed it to me. So I woke up, I went to my fiance and I was like, babe, like, we need to go ahead and get a test like ASAP. So he went immediately, bought me a test. I took the test and it came back positive. I will insert a clip of like our initial reaction here for you guys to see. Okay, how long do we have to wait?
1 to 3 minutes.
It's about to be the longest 1 to 3 minutes of our life.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we already know until I flip it over. But y'all, I had 3 dreams last night back to back.
Yeah.
3 dreams about being pregnant. And then yesterday, when I went to see my mom, I said something about Jenny, like, yeah, I need to go do my baby's hair. And my aunt was like, you pregnant? And I was like, no, I'm talking about Jenny. And she was like, oh, we'll see. I'm like, we'll see. So that plus the 3 dreams, man, if you're Caribbean, you know. You look. Fuck. Oh.
Ain't this some shit, man?
Oh.
Damn. Yeah, it's that. I'm happy about it. Jenny about to have a brother and sister for sure. This is crazy.
The dreams don't be lying. As you can see by the clip, we don't really know how to feel. It's not necessarily the most positive reaction. Obviously, like, we want to be happy, but we're in complete shock. Like, we're just not. It's a lot of mixed emotions. I just wasn't feeling particularly ready to bring another life into this world. Like, I feel like my current family has just experienced a lot of transition. At that time, I don't know if you guys remember, we had literally just moved from the suburbs to the city. I had just started a new job that wasn't necessarily going well. We were trying to figure out, what we're going to do for school for our daughter, and navigating the Chicago public school system is extremely difficult. It was just a lot of stuff going on. And to make this move to the city, my fiance had to quit his job. Like, we literally just moved here on faith, so he wasn't working at the time. And here we are pregnant, and I'm freaking out. Like, so the anxiety that I was experiencing has now quadrupled. I can't function. I'm literally just like, what am I gonna do? Like, God, I don't want this. And I know that is extremely taboo to say, and it's not that I didn't want the child that we were having. It was just, I'm not ready for this right now. And I think if people are honest, like, when you first find out you're expecting, even though it's unexpected, like, that's a lot of people's reaction more often than not. And it's just not okay to talk about it. People just expect for you to be like overjoyed immediately. But some of us, the immediate reaction is panic. Like, what am I going to do? And that is exactly what I was experiencing. I was like, I am not prepared for this. At this time, work is extremely difficult. We are short-staffed, and My team is burnt out. Nothing is going according to plan. And we moved here, guys, to the suburbs. I mean, to the city from the suburbs so that I can more efficiently do content. I could get to events more. I could network with other creators easily. So it really was a move of faith to kind of build, hopefully, my career as a content creator and eventually make that a full-time job. So that was like the move that we made, why we ended up coming here in the first place. And I hadn't even had a chance to really even start that yet, and like all of these things are happening. Like I said, if I'm being 100% transparent, I was not sure that this was a pregnancy that I even wanted, and I did consider abortion. I did. I was like, I can't do this to my current child. Like, her quality of life can't change. We're not financially in a place to give this child same quality of life that we're giving our daughter that we have right now, and I just can't right now. So I absolutely considered abortion. And maybe one day, if you guys are interested, or if you guys would find it helpful, I could talk about my whole pregnancy journey and, you know, the different things that happened. If that's a video that you guys want. But just know that, like, at a point in time, I did consider abortion, and it put a strain on my relationship because my fiance at the time, he was the one that really had the faith. He was like, we could do it. God will provide. Like, it's gonna be okay. Let's just like relic in this moment. Let's be grateful. Let's have joy. Like, we can do it. Like, we can have this other baby. Like, it's going to be fine. Now, I didn't make any rash decisions. I definitely gave myself time before deciding to book any appointments or anything like that. But you all can imagine, like, what that was like. You know, my fiance was obviously very hurt that I was even considering abortion, because my entire life I said that that was something that I would never do. This is why you shouldn't, like, judge people, which I never did. I've always been, do what's best for you and your body. But, like, you just never know how you're going to feel when you're in a certain situation. So don't project your stuff onto other people. And I know the Christians are going to come for me, but I'm just speaking my truth. That's what it was. That's what it is. And ultimately, I decided to keep the baby. Ultimately, literally at around, like, you know, the last minute coming up to that 12-week mark, I prayed on it a lot. I spent a lot of time with God, just like crying out to him and being like, God, like, this is how I'm feeling, just being honest with him. And ultimately, I decided to move in faith. I think your partner also has a huge impact on that, because the fact that my fiance was so, like, just stood firm and like, no, God will provide. Obviously, I support your choice. He wasn't like pressuring me to keep the baby or not keep the baby. He was like, I support whatever you want to do, but like, if you're asking me what my opinion is, I think we will manage. I think we'll be okay. I know we don't see the way out right now, but I just don't think God will forsake us. Like, we will be okay. So ultimately, I listened to him, and not even really listen to him. Like, ultimately, I went to God. God put it on my heart, and I just decided to trust him. I just decided to say, okay, God, you don't make mistakes. This is not the ideal situation, but if you are the one who's blessed my womb and given me this child, then, like, you will make provision for it. You will give us away. I did end up seeking out a black OBGYN here in Chicago, just based off of the dream that I had. I was just like, I'm not even going to fool with anything else. I did end up finding a black OBGYN. And in our first appointment with her, she was a little nervous because I was projecting further along in pregnancy than the baby was measuring. But then she sent us to the hospital. We got a second ultrasound. They confirmed the pregnancy, confirmed the due date, and like everything was looking like it was right on track. The baby heartbeat was there. It was strong. Everything was good. So now we're getting excited. I'm like, okay, this is what the dream was about. We're in the clear. Everything's moving forward. I made it very close to the end of my first trimester, which is usually when they say if you can make it through the first trimester, you're in the clear, you know, for miscarriage, and you can start, you know, telling your friends, family, etc., etc. We are excited now, and we're planning how to tell our daughter, but we have one appointment that we need to go to at the start of my second trimester now. So now we go back to my OBGYN and we think we're in the clear, and she ends up doing an ultrasound. Like every time we go to her, she does an ultrasound. She checks baby's heartbeat, makes sure everything is good. And we go back for our second appointment with her, and no, third appointment with her at this point. And we're not even worried about anything. We're just like, okay, like all is well, everything is good. We're on the same page now. Like relationship woes are being mended because we're back in sync. We're on the same page. We're trusting God. We're moving forward. So we're going to go to our appointment. We go to our appointment and she does her normal stuff, you know, check vitals, all that good stuff. And then she does the ultrasound. And in the ultrasound, she does not see a heartbeat. And when I tell you, we were so confused. We were like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you don't see a heartbeat? She's like, yeah, I'm not seeing a heartbeat. It could just be, you know, maybe my machine, maybe the way the baby's positioned. Like, I don't want you guys to freak out, but I definitely need to send you all to the hospital to do like a full-on ultrasound. Because my OBGYN has her own practice, but she's connected to one of the hospitals here in Chicago. So when we go to do visits, we don't go to the hospital, we go to her office. This time she's telling us, just like the first time there was a scare with the baby, we just need to go and make sure, get a second opinion. Don't freak out just yet. Like, baby's probably fine, but we need to go ahead and make sure. She does tell us that it could be like a potential miscarriage that she's seeing. Now, mind you, we've made it past the first trimester. I spent the entire first trimester going back and forth with God about getting an abortion or not, and feeling, even having to question that was like making my depression even worse, because I felt like a terrible Christian. Like, I felt like, I can't even believe I'm considering this, but like, I understand why women feel this way and why women make this choice, because like, this is too much. So that put me in a deeper depression in my first trimester. And then pregnancy is just a lot on the body. And so I was very frustrated of my lack of ability to be productive and do things, especially when it came to my content, and just really feeling like very sluggish and all of that, which is normal when you're creating a human life. But for me, that wasn't my plan for 2023. 2023 is supposed to be go hard on my content. And I wasn't able to do that in the first trimester of pregnancy because I was literally exhausted all of the time. And also dealing with having that confrontation at the end of 2022. So like I said, yeah, my first trimester, it was terrible. But we made it to the second trimester now. Like, we have hope. We think we're in the clear of the baby. And now you're telling me there's no heartbeat? Like, huh? Can't be. Now, at this point, I'm like, God, we done went through all of this. Like, surely you're gonna like allow this baby to be okay. I had to overcome all of that to be here, to finally get to a place of like acceptance, and even more than acceptance, of like actually wanting to continue with this pregnancy. Just for it to end, like it could possibly be a miscarriage, I don't think so. So we get the second opinion. Me and my fiance make the decision of like, we're not gonna mourn or do anything until we know, because at this point there's still a chance that maybe the position of the baby was just off and everything is fine. So we carry on like normal until the day of our follow-up appointment. And we were really kind of bummed still though, because that weekend was the weekend that we were planning on telling our daughter, who really wants a sibling. Like, she's expressed it. She wants to be a big sister. Like, she really wants to do life with a sibling, and we were excited that we could finally like provide that for her. We go to our follow-up appointment to get the ultrasound, just to make sure if the baby's heartbeat is okay or not. We go, and obviously you all have seen my content for all of 2023. I'm sure you guys know where this story is going. And we're basically told that unfortunately the baby has passed on. We're experiencing a miscarriage. They're not able to see a heartbeat. And we did testing, like some genetic testing and stuff like that. So we did know the gender of the baby. So we were gonna have a son. It was a boy, the baby. And when we went for the second ultrasound, they essentially told us that they saw like fluid in the back of the baby's head, and that essentially, like, had the pregnancy gone to term, our baby would have had Down syndrome. So we got the confirmation that unfortunately we are experiencing a miscarriage. They were so sorry, but like, you know, they give you all the stats to try and comfort you, you know, one in however many women will experience this. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you all could have done, because we were just asking like so many questions, like, how could this have happened? Is it something that we did? Is it something that we didn't do? Like, what could we have done to prevent this? And we were extremely devastated, because it took all of this work for me specifically to get to this point of like acceptance and just like to be okay with this pregnancy, even though my fiance was okay with it the entire time. And for him, he's always wanted a son, and like I said, he was like happy about this pregnancy the entire time. So for it to end like this for him was like just devastating. By the way that he was measuring, they were able to tell us like when this had occurred, and apparently this miscarriage had already taken place, I think at that time, like 3 weeks ago. And my body was like not recognizing that the miscarriage had happened. And so my body was still very much so moving along in the pregnancy, even though the pregnancy had ended. So right after that first appointment where I was telling you guys, you know, there was a little scare. She sent us the first time to have a confirmation. The confirmation went fine. They saw the baby's heartbeat and everything was fine. And then we moved forward. Probably the next week after that is when the miscarriage happened. And we just didn't know. Now, normally when you have a miscarriage, obviously your body is supposed to do its part and like expel the baby. Naturally, it's supposed to come out. It's a very traumatic experience, but that is what is supposed to happen. In my case, that did not happen. My body basically didn't know what was going on. And so that made me feel like, well, what's wrong with me? Why isn't my body able to figure itself out and like regulate this? So you mean to tell me that in my head, I've been carrying a child that I thought was healthy and all of that all this time, and I've been essentially carrying a passed along fetus this entire time for 3 weeks, going on a month, and my body wasn't able to recognize that? Like, my body still thinks, I do not like this brow color, we're gonna fix this, but my body still thinks it's pregnant. How is that possible? Like, isn't this how it's supposed to work? And they basically explained to me that what I was experiencing was rare, but it does happen, and it's called a missed miscarriage. I had two options at this point. I could have taken some medication to like basically kickstart the miscarriage process at home, but there was a possibility that everything wouldn't come out. Or first of all, she told me it was going to be like painful. I was going to be basically going through this at home, as many women do, as I've done before, just at home in my bathroom, not by myself, because obviously my fiance will be there with me, but just like going through the motions and waiting for this pregnancy to terminate itself, essentially. And then the other option was to have surgery, was to have a DNC, which is kind of like a medical abortion where they go in and, you know, physically remove the tissue, remove everything, and it's done. Now, I opted to have the DNC because at this point, I'm kind of mortified that I've been carrying something that has passed along in my body for over a month. And I really just want this process to be over. I also did not want to choose to go through the motions of a miscarriage again. It was not great the first time that happened to me in a previous relationship. And I just mentally, I didn't want to do that. So we set up the appointment for the DNC, And it's a week between when we received the news until I was able to get my appointment. So I was like, ugh. And for me, a week felt like forever, because now I know that our son has been gone for 3 weeks now. So I just want this entire ordeal to be done. I want it to be over with. You guys, we leave the hospital. Obviously, the mood is very somber. We're extremely hurt. I'm pissed. I'm furious with God at this point, because you had me do all of this work, all of this emotional overcoming to accept this pregnancy, to come to terms with this pregnancy, and to trust you for it to end like this. I was so upset. Like, me and God definitely had some words. So that's all that I'm feeling in that moment. My fiance is obviously devastated. He is so upset. We leave the hospital together, and all we want to do is be with our daughter. Like, we just want to be with the kid that we have, that is here, that is healthy, that is alive. Like, we just want to be with her. So we get in the car to go head to pick up our daughter, and I kid you not, 5 minutes after leaving that doctor's appointment, he gets a call with a job offer. 5 minutes after leaving that appointment. Like, we're in the car, not even leaving, barely leaving the parking lot of the hospital, and he gets the call. They make him the offer, give him his start date, all that information, and like, now he's employed. So I'm even more confused. It's like, God, like, you were making the provision, like, you were moving things around for us to be okay, and there's no baby. So I just was extremely confused. I was annoyed. I felt so frustrated, because I felt like I had made the choice to honor God by keeping the baby. I had made the choice to honor him by trusting him. And it's like, if I'm being honest, like, this is what honoring you gets me? Like, what is going on, God? This is not how it's supposed to work. Like, my faith at that time was very elementary. Because if you read certain stories in the Bible, like Job, I'm not the first person that this has happened to. We just have to know that all things are working for our good, because the way that I was at the beginning of the year, the way that I was panicking about even being a mom of two, and then to be a mom of two to a child with special needs, not that I couldn't have done it, but again, I think God's hand was on me, and I just didn't even know it at that time, because what I would be coming up against in the year, and just like so many other things, I just think he kind of knew, like, yeah, this is not what she needs, even though in the moment I was extremely upset and frustrated. That basically takes us through like April of 2023. And at this point, like, I just need time. Like, I need time to physically recover, because now my body is going through postpartum, even though there's no baby, which is mentally exhausting. Emotionally recover. Like, I just needed time. And I wasn't really sure how to, like I said, explain this to you guys at the time. So I just decided not to talk about it. And that's the honest truth of what happened. When I finally did muster up the strength to film a video about my experience, I was so happy with how it turned out at the end. I was like super excited to post it for you guys, because I felt like it was going to help a lot of women. And it was really just about my DNC experience and everything from start to finish. Some of it I've already shared in this video, but like all the little details in between, it was there. And y'all, I filmed the video, I go to edit it, no sound. At that point, I just was like, I can't do it again. I can't do it again. Like, it was one and done. It took me months to get the strength to sit down and do it the first time. I can't do it again. And so that video never came out. Like I said, I'm in a place now where we finally found healing. I'm okay talking about the situation. And so if you guys still want that video, I will refilm it for you guys, because I do think it could be helpful. And I don't see a lot of, especially for us as Black women or women of color, when I was going through it and like looking for YouTube videos on what to expect, how to prepare, like emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of the things, there were a lot of white women sharing their experience, but nobody that looked like me. And sometimes you just want to see somebody that looks like you on the other side of the thing that you're experiencing to know that you can make it, if that makes sense. But I'm still experiencing slight depression between the months of April and like September-ish, because I still can't execute the way that I want to execute. I'm not posting content consistently. At work, like, things are not panning out well, in my opinion. It's not like I was receiving a lot of negative feedback. Actually, it was the opposite. I was, selected to be a senior property manager, and that comes with like extra responsibilities. So obviously, if they're giving me extra responsibilities, like, they're okay with how I'm handling my current responsibilities. But I just wasn't feeling like I was giving it 100%. I wasn't feeling like I was giving content 100%. I wasn't feeling like I could really give anything 100%. I was trying to do everything to the best of my ability, like genuinely trying, and just feeling like I wasn't doing a good job at any of it. Feeling really upset with the level of output that I was able to achieve. And just like at the beginning of the year, just not feeling the greatest, like feeling defeated in certain areas. It's like I moved to the city to produce like a higher quality level of content, a more frequent level of content, and I'm not able to do that. In my new role, like I do care about my role. Like, I care about my team. Like, as long as I am working a 9 to 5, I want to be the best that I can at that 9 to 5, represent God appropriately at that 9 to 5, and truly give it my all. And the all that I had, let me put it this way. I was giving it my all, but I didn't have 100% anymore after going through that experience of losing the baby. So I couldn't give anything 100%. I felt like if I was a gas tank, all I had was maybe like 60%, and I was giving that, but it just didn't feel like enough. It was really tough. It was really tough. I felt like a failure. I was being extremely critical of myself. I was spread extremely thin. And because of that, like I said, content suffered, work suffered, relationships suffered. And as a result, nothing is panning out. I don't want to be feeling this way, but I can't figure out my way out of this funk. And I also am experiencing kind of like a friendship breakup at this point, a friendship breakup of 10 years, or just like, if not a breakup, then a repositioning or reevaluating of a friendship that's really important to me. And so that was really extremely hard to navigate. It's just a lot going on. And then there are two major things that happened at work that really, really made me feel defeated. So one of them being at my job. If you guys don't know, I'm currently a property manager. That is my 9 to 5. That's what I do to sustain my family. And every year in March, my company does this like annual property tours where it's like a big deal. They come, they spend time with the on-site team, they walk the building, and it's also meant to like help us get ready for peak leasing season, to make sure the property is in tip-top shape in its best possible position to rent come the end of spring going into summer. And it's like a big deal. You get a score for it. Like I say, they spend time with the team. They walk a few units, and you get rated based off of your property's readiness and all of that. Now, at this point, like, we're still not fully staffed. My team is still overwhelmed. But we do the best that we can. And I thought that we did what we needed to do to be ready for the season and perform efficiently. And those scores don't come out until like August, September. And in August and September is also budget season, where we're working on the annual budget for the year to come. Two of the most stressful times. So like property tour time is extremely stressful, just like making sure the building is in tip-top shape, making sure everything is perfect. And then obviously the budget, you're creating and building a budget for a multi-million-dollar property for the next year that's going to go to ownership, senior leadership, all of that. Like, it's a lot of work and extremely stressful. So now's August. I'm kind of feeling, just like my grief about the pregnancy loss and all of that is I'm feeling okay. God and I have had our conversations. that we needed to have, and like things are moving forward. And as things are moving forward, I get my property score for the annual tour that happened back in March, which is also around the time that we were going through, like, is the baby going to be okay, not okay, what's going on? You guys, my property ranked last. Not like I didn't rank the way that I wanted to rank. Not like, I wanted to do better. Last. Oh my gosh. I felt like such a failure. Such a failure. And to give you guys context, there's not that many Black people in, like, as a property manager in general. Like, when I see other Black property managers, it really makes my heart full, right? So to be one of the few, and I'm sure if you work in corporate, you can sympathize with what I'm saying. I'm already one of few. So the expectations, I think, that are honestly of us, if our corporate structures, we're being honest, are extremely high. But also the expectations that we put on ourselves to represent the entire race is extremely high. I'm one of few Black property managers in my company, and the only Black senior property manager. So like, in my head, the expectations and stakes for me are like doubly high, because other Black managers and people of color are looking to me to be the example, and my property ranks last. And I'm also an overachiever. Have always been, like, through high school, through college, like, always doing the extra thing. So I've never in my life experienced something like that. Never. And I was so upset. And I know that it wasn't for lack of trying. Like, my team and I really did try. And there were some other factors that I can't discuss on here for, like, HR purposes that were happening with my team at that time. But we did the best with what we had at the time, and it did not yield the results that I was hoping for. So I was very, very discouraged at that. At this point, I'm thinking, am I going to lose my job? Like, are they going to pull the senior manager position from me? Oh, this is not good. It's also budget season, and I work tirelessly to create the budget. I am working 60, 70 hours a week, crunching numbers, reviewing things, editing things, pulling things. And because I'm a senior property manager, other managers are reaching out with questions about their budgets. So I'm taking time out to help them, answer questions and all of that. So I'm working a lot and still trying to be consistent on social media. Like, it was just a lot of work. And my budget presentation comes, I'm walking into it feeling confident, feeling prepared. And at the end of my budget review, my CEO looks at me and says to me, like, Lincy, you do know how important this is, right? Like, it's extremely important how that managers come to this budget meeting prepared. And I was just like, was I not prepared? Like, what? Like, what transpired in this room that I thought I came in here with my ducks in a row, really came prepared, really worked, like, extremely hard, just for it to come across that I didn't care, almost like I had just, like, slapped the budget together, that I wasn't taking it seriously, and I've taken it extremely seriously. Like, at this point, this is also not my first budget review. This is my third budget review. So I'm, like, very, very confident, because the first two have always gone well, and I didn't do anything different in this one than the first two. So, like, how are we here? How am I getting this feedback? And just now, this is the second blow at work of, like, being the last ranked property, and I have my CEO thinking that I didn't take the budget seriously. It's literally the biggest part of my job, to manage the budget. It is the crux of my job. Again, I walked away devastated. I cried. I was just like, what is happening, God? Like, what? Things that normally come natural to me are no longer coming natural to me. Like, what is going on? I'm nervous because now this is the second thing that isn't in the best light. Even though nobody said anything to me about the property score, this is just all my thinking. This is all my internal speaking. This is all my internal thoughts. I don't know. It was just very hard to receive that feedback for the second time. That just made me feel like, I wasn't doing good enough at my job, and this is how I'm being perceived, all that pressure that I was putting on myself. And then in addition to that, it just made me feel like, okay, all my focus has to be in the job that currently sustains me now, which is being a property manager, because if I'm giving it all that I have right now, which remember, I'm not operating at 100%. Like my max capacity at this point is still maybe like 6%, but I'm giving it all that I have. And this is the results that are coming out of it. I'm going to have to put content on the back burner. I'm going to have to really hone in at work because this is my current livelihood, which made me feel even more defeated. It made me feel even more just like a failure because, again, the whole point of this move was content. Content is king. This is what being a creator is, my passion. It's what fulfills me. It's what I love to do. And quite frankly, it's what is going to allow me to lead the life that I want to live. Like, I started content because I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to, you know, build a life that allowed me the flexibility that I needed to be a wife, be a mom, be all of the things that really make me happy, to be a present parent. I didn't want to have to like miss school activities. Like, every choice that we have made strategically is to move us closer and closer to that goal where that can be our reality. And now I have to make the choice to put down content to focus on my 9 to 5. That is also, like, at the moment equally as important to me because it's how we live. It's how, like, my family eats. It's how it literally, like, our housing situation is tied to it. And so I can't be lackluster in that area either. And so I cried. I was just so devastated. I was so upset. And my fiance is trying to encourage me. Like, I know it's tough right now, but babe, I don't think that you should, give up on content. Like, this is the goal. This is the dream. Like, you have to stay focused on the dream. Like, give work as much as you can, but like, work is not supposed to be forever. And if you put content down for work, you're just delaying the end destination, which I knew. But it's just like, what else am I supposed to do when I constantly feel like I'm missing the mark? And I don't want my performance to be anything less than stellar. So I'm feeling exhausted. I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling burnt out. I'm feeling like, God, you've given me all of these things. You gave me this job. You gave me this passion, and it's not working. So now I'm depressed again about just surrounding my output, surrounding my performance, and all of that. Like, I'm just not happy. And after getting that last feedback during my budget review, I booked an appointment with my therapist because I'm like in therapy, but I'm not in therapy the same way that I was in 2022. Like, in 2022, I had a standing appointment with my therapist. Like, me and my girl were locked in. But then towards the end of the year, obviously prior to running into that gentleman, I have felt like I kind of got all the tools, right? Like, the goal of therapy is not to stay in therapy forever. It's to get the tools that you need, graduate, and then kind of use it like maintenance, right? To maintenance your life. Obviously, life is not always going to be perfect. Things are going to happen. You'll need to check in from time to time, but you're not supposed to stay in that place forever. So I felt like I had graduated. I spent, the better of a year from 2021 to in 2022 going to see my therapist. And I felt pretty confident in the tools that she had given me to kind of navigate life situations. And I had been doing okay for 2022 until that situation happened at the end of the year going into 23. Then obviously chaos ensued. So I hit my therapist back up and I'm like, hey, like, I think I need a session. I think I need to talk to you. And it's not like the first time that we talked. Like, I talked to her when I was considering abortion. I talked to her during the loss of the pregnancy. So I have been like in contact with my therapist off and on, during all of these trials and tribulations. But it just wasn't like a standing weekly appointment thing, which really, looking at hindsight, given that all that I was going through is probably what I should have done, but I thought I was managing, y'all. I thought I was okay. I thought I was strong enough. I thought I was gonna be fine. I call my therapist. I'm telling her like what I'm experiencing. I'm telling her I'm considering, you know, putting the content on pause to really focus on work because, you know, this is happening, and she really helped me process and kind of break down and view the situation in a different light. She helped me to really just understand and take a look at like a bird's eye view. First of all, I hadn't even been at my current property for a year. I didn't even have a stable, trained, fully functioning staff, honestly, until October. Like every department staff, every department trained, everyone doing their job and like functioning, you know, up to where they need to function until October. So you were making lemonades with the lemons that are handed to you. And you are also like giving a lot. I am a manager that is invested in, you know, the personal development of my team. We talk a lot about their personal problems. Like I am just a people person. Like I want to help in any way that I can. And so in my office, like they could come to me with their personal problems. They can come to me with things that they're struggling with. I honestly think that's part of my ministry, to like help them navigate, help them put plans together, and to help people in a way that is not typical in the corporate structure, because I want them to be the best versions of themselves, both inside and outside of the office. And so that is like something that I'm really proud of. But it does take up a lot of energy, and it does take up a lot of like mental capacity, because I'm essentially not only a property manager sometimes, but like also a therapist, you know, a listening ear and all of that to my team whenever they need it. So she's explaining this to me and kind of getting me to like, you know, look at things in a different framework and get a better understanding. And she's like, now how the property does next year will be a representation of you, because you've had the property under your belt for a year now, and you know, whatever happens from this point forward would have been under your time. But you were basically playing cleanup, getting things like restructured, reorganizing all this time. Like that's not a testament of your quality of work. And if nobody is saying anything to you, like if you're not getting negative reviews or anything like that, so you just need to like chill. You need to chill. So, you know, I learned between the two of them that I was just being extremely hard on myself, and that I was the cause of my own anxiety, my own depression, just like stringing incidents along in my head that weren't really related. The rest of my company and stuff like that wasn't stringing them together. So why are you stringing them together and making it a thing that it's not? Because all of this is just my perception of their perception of me. No one has come to me and said, hey, we're not happy with your performance. You can no longer be a senior manager. You need to step it up. Those conversations never happened. This is just all intrusive thoughts and like internal dialogue that I'm having with myself, and basically creating anxiety for myself. So after having that conversation with my therapist, I decide like, okay, I'm going to reset. We understand where we've been going wrong, why we're not able to achieve the level in which that we need to achieve. I have a prayer with God. I'm like, God, like, what is the issue? He's like, girl, you have no structure. And so because you have no structure, there's no like groundwork for discipline, because you don't have set times for anything. Like, we need to get you some structure. That's what's missing. It's not that you don't have the capacity to do these things. You do, because otherwise I would not have entrusted all of these things to you. You need to get organized. So I said, okay, bet we could do that. We could get organized. It's now September. My birthday is coming up in October. I'm going into a new decade. I just want to be on my stuff. Like, I want to be on top of my game. So that is the response to my prayer. That is the response to like how I'm gonna fix this situation. He ended up leading me to watch, I'm not sure if you guys follow her, but if you like fashion and stuff, and if you're like into some of the mommy inspirational content, her name is Yannick, I think it's Yannick Duke on Instagram. And here she has an amazing page, amazing page. I will tag it in the description box, called Yannick Under Construction. And she had posted a video literally talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Is your house a mess all the time? You can never get to your to-do list. And you just feel like you don't have enough time to pursue your passions, to be there for your family, etc., etc. Here's the video for you. So God leads me to watch that video. No, God leads me actually to message her on Instagram. I message her on Instagram. I'm like, hey girl, like, I normally don't do this, but God told me to message you. She has like 160,000 followers or something like that. I'm like, there's no way this woman is going to respond to my little DM. But okay, Lord, you tell me to message her. I'm going to message her. I message her. I explain my situation to her. And, you know, that is basically her response. She's like, okay, girl, it sounds like you're struggling with a routine. Like you need to get a routine. And that is how I knew that that is what God wanted me to hear. So I'm sorry, I skipped that part, but that's really important. So she explains to me, you know, how she's done it, because she's been here before. She's been in my exact situation. And sometimes God will really connect you with people who have been where you are to disciple to you, to mentor you, to show you the way, even if it's just like digitally, right? Like I don't have her phone number. We don't talk regularly. I mean, sometimes in the DMs, but like it's very much a parasocial relationship. But based on following her, I know like she's been where I am. There's a roadmap I need to follow if I want to get where she is. God has implanted this on my heart. If he could do it for her, he could do it for me. There is a way. And she has, I think, 3 boys or 2 boys. So she got more kids than me. If she could do it, I could do it. So I watched the video. I took notes. I put my plan in place. I'm like, I have this new feeling, like I have a new lease on life. My birthday's coming up. I'm entering a new decade. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, we're not going to stop the content. We're going to keep this train going. We're going to do what we need to do. I put my plan in place. I start mapping out like, okay, what are the things that I need to do to feel whole? What are the things that I need to do to feel fulfilled? What are the things that I need to do to be closer to God? And some of the things are really simple things. Like I need to eat a healthy breakfast. Of course, I'm operating at 60%. I'm not eating every day. I need to, you know, have intentional prayer and devotional time with God. Like I need to get in his word. I need to know his word, not like being a secondhand Christian where it's relying on my pastor or, you know, spiritual leader to feed me the word. I need to go study and like know it and learn it for myself. So that was another one. I need to move my body daily. Like I started feeling just like limited in my own body. Like my back is always hurting. My body feels tight. I know from going to the chiropractor, like my hips are misaligned. Like I need to just move my body daily. So that started with like, okay, maybe a daily 5-minute stretch. And then do the things that I enjoy, like my skincare, my makeup, like getting dressed. Like those are the things that I need to do on a daily basis to be 100%. And I wasn't doing them. For all of 2023, I wasn't doing them every single day consistently. And her video really helped me map that out and really helped me create a morning routine that was conducive to what I needed. And I think that that is key, because you can watch stuff on social media, but that stuff is not tailored to you. Of course, you can take inspiration, you can take ideas, you can be inspired, but their morning routine might not get you to 100%. Like you really have to sit and figure out what's going to work for you. And that's what I did. So that was pretty much what I did for the month of October. I went on my birthday trip to Turks and Caicos in Miami. I spent more time with God, more time in prayer about certain things. And then when I came back from my birthday trip, I did experience a little bit of depression of just like, you know, I'm not where I want to be. I'm 30 now, blah, blah, blah. But I quickly came out of that and was like, but I have my plan. I have my roadmap. I know how we're going to get there. I know what I need to do. Now we're going to execute. So I said when I came back, okay, for the next 60 days, I'm going to put this plan in place. And I'm going to get a head start on 2024. And that's actually what this video was supposed to be. This video was supposed to be what I did in the last 60 days to kickstart 2024. Because I know a lot of people are putting their, like, you know, plans together, their New Year's Eve resolution goals, vision boards, all that stuff. And so that's what this video was supposed to be, to inspire you guys. But obviously it's taken like a different turn now. So say, okay, I'm going to put this plan together. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to go on vacation. We're going to come back rejuvenated, refreshed, re-inspired. I'm walking into a new decade now. Like, this is what we're doing. And I'm ready to go, y'all. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move forward. I'm excited. I'm like just super excited. So November comes, and not even November, really when I got back from Turks. But I mean, my birthday is at the end of the month. It's the 22nd. So really November, I started putting the plan in place. I started doing it a little bit before Turks and Caicos too, but like, you know, just really full force once we got back from the trip. I started really executing and not even focusing so much on implementing the content side, but just getting my routine down. Like getting up every day, having my devotional time, having my prayer time, stretching every single morning, doing my skincare every single morning. And some of the stuff I would have to habit stack, right? So just switching my perspective, which my therapist also helped me with as well, on how I achieve these things. Like for me, with just the busy schedule that I have and everything right now, as much as I would love to sit and physically read my Bible, sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And I would literally feel like, if I didn't read my Bible today, physically, like sit down, open the book and read it, my opportunity to do so for that day is just gone. And that's not necessarily true. There is an app called Bible Gateway where there's different versions of the Bible, NIV, ESV, King James, whatever version you want, they have it. And with a few versions, you can listen to like an audible, like type narrator read you the Bible. And some of the narrators are actually really engaging, and it really feels like I'm listening to an audiobook. So I would just do my skincare and listen to my Bible at the same time. Like I wake up, wash my face, brush my teeth, do my skincare, all of that, and listen to a couple chapters of the Bible. Sometimes if I really wanted to meditate on like a certain scripture or a certain chapter and really study it, I would just replay it over and over again. And that fulfilled me in feeling like, okay, I'm still getting into the word, but I still have the time and capacity to do all the other things that I need to do. And it became like my little self-care morning ritual to like listen to my Bible, do my skincare and you know, my hygiene and all that stuff, and not feel like the two have to be completely separate. So if you're struggling with that, I highly encourage you to habit stack. But that is what I did, starting in October, going into the month of November. November, it was just really focused on making this consistent, making it a habit. I still kind of had a plan of like how and when I would do content, but I said I wasn't going to worry about that until December and going into January for this year, 2024. My camera stopped recording, guys, so I just put my lashes on off camera, and now we're just gonna finish out the chat. November's going really well. I'm a lot more confident. I'm feeling sure of myself. I'm not experiencing that same level of like depression and anxiety anymore. I've kind of resolved all of the things that have happened throughout the year. Things are continuing to go well, and I am just feeling more established. I'm feeling like myself again. I'm feeling like I'm in a really good place. And then my mother's birthday comes, and we're getting ready to celebrate her. We're getting ready to love on her, and my mother has a mental breakdown. Now, I truly believe that one day she will be on here giving her own testimony, and you all will be able to hear firsthand from her what she's experiencing. And I don't want to take that away from her, so I'm not going to like divulge too much when it comes to my mom and her mental health and like what she's currently battling and going through. But just know, like, it's really difficult to watch somebody that you love go through extreme mental health issues. And my mom has been battling with this for years now. It's almost going on 10 years that she's been dealing with this in this capacity, and we've been just like trying so many different things to be a support to her, to be of help to her, and all of that. But this particular mental breakdown was different. This one was different. And like I said, I was finally seeing the finish line and getting there. And I'm my mother's firstborn child. And I just feel like the mother-child relationship is already just like unmatched. But I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I'm the firstborn, but y'all know when they talk about the big sister of the family, those TikToks of firstborn daughters, that's me. So there's just been a lot of responsibility to kind of manage her mental health from the family, trying to find like the right doctors, trying to find the right therapists, facilities, trying to find some solution to get her the help that she needs so that she can function in society and be okay. But this one was different. This time around, it was very clear to me that we are not just dealing with mental health issues, which are a real thing. I know sometimes as a Christian, you know, we can get the messaging that like all we need is Jesus. No, like medical intervention is a real thing. And if you are experiencing mental health issues, or someone in your family is experiencing mental health issues, like go and seek the help. However, we don't live in just the natural world. We also live in a very spiritual world. It's a real thing. And this mental health breakdown, it was very clear to me that we were not dealing with just chemical imbalances. This is like spiritual warfare. My mother is literally fighting for her life. She is like engaging in some deep spiritual warfare. And this time around, it was just so clear to me, my sister, my brother, like, we're like, oh, this is some next level stuff that we were not equipped for, we're not prepared for. Which is why, like I said at the beginning of this video, God forced me to shut down in terms of like creating and everything, because he would really need me to come alongside my mom in that way, and really need me to like focus and be with him and spend time with him to develop understanding and knowledge. Now, he had been kind of giving me understanding, I would say, over the last 2 years, just based off of the things that I was being exposed to, based all of the things that I was coming into contact. As you guys can see, I'm someone who has dreams, who has visions. And so like in my dreams and in my visions, he would reveal certain things to me. And then a sermon would pop up on my YouTube that would confirm those certain things. And so I'm very aware of like the spiritual realm, how it works. I've been learning a lot about like the rules and how to engage in spiritual warfare. And he's kind of been training me and my younger sister, if I'm being honest, like training us up for this moment that we didn't know we were going to need. He's been giving us understanding, bits and pieces, and developing us for this moment. And when that came, the depression came back a little bit, because I was just so heartbroken for my mom. I just wanted her to be delivered. Like, I just wanted her to have relief. I wanted her to experience peace. I wanted her to just not be going through this. But I know that God has a plan for her life. I know that there is a purpose in this. And so the depression isn't as intense. The anxiety is gone because I do know, like I said, God has a hand on her life and on our life. But it was just really heartbreaking to know the level of warfare that she's been having to fight against this entire time. And I just can imagine how exhausted she is, because I know how I am exhausted as the child who was just trying to be a support. So as a person going through it, it's really heartbreaking at times. And so I'm not going to say I completely fell off of my routine and things that I was building, because I was still doing them kind of, but like everything was put on the back burner so that I could just focus and be present and be there for my mom and my siblings, and I could kind of come together and like, you know, form an understanding of how we're going to handle the situation, or how we're going to help handle the situation, our different roles and the different gifts that God has given each of us to be able to assist or be used to him in this situation. And so the month of December has been a lot of that. It's been a lot of just like putting things on pause, which is why I truly believe that God completely shut down my computer. Like, it stopped working literally by divine intervention, because I think he knew that I was so focused and so committed on, you know, executing the plan, keeping the plan in place for the next 60 days so that I could hit the ground running, you know, with content, with, you know, work and all of that stuff for 2024. And I think he knew I was going to need that time to just like rest, be in his presence, and be focused. And if my laptop didn't break, your girl is a workaholic. I was going to be working. I was going to be distracted. I was going to be not able to hear his voice clearly. I was not going to be able to just be present with him and just take the time with him. And now I'm really grateful, because my mom's situation hasn't completely put me back in the same level of depression that I was this time last year. I'm actually going into 2024 really hopeful. And like I said, I fully believe that one day she will be on this platform or some platform sharing her testimony, and you guys will get the full scope of like what it truly means to be delivered. But I am feeling hopeful and I'm feeling encouraged, and I feel like everything that I've learned in 2023 has truly, the main takeaway is that God will really be with you. Like, he will really walk with you through the fire. Like, he will stand in it with you. He will walk with you through it. He will give you people, send people your way to support you. Like, when he really says that he will never forsake us nor leave us, I have experienced that. Like, even in moments of just being so angry with him, of literally like, I'm not a perfect Christian, y'all. So me and God, like, when I say we have real conversations, we have real conversations. Like, I talk to him like I talk to my sister. I talk to him like I talk to my fiance. Like, we really be getting into it sometimes. So I'll be like, what is this? But he never leaves me. It doesn't matter, like, how I say it, what I say it. He always responds with just grace and love. He's also, you know, held me accountable and told me, like, what's real at times as well. But it's a beautiful relationship to look back over the year, look at the trials, the tribulations, and to still come out and to still be feeling like I could be whole, I could be hopeful, I can do this with God by my side. I don't know if I could do it alone, but I'm not scared anymore, because I know his hand and his staff are with me. What is it? His rod and his staff are with me. In Psalms 23 verse 4 through 6, everybody knows this scripture, but like, I have found it really, really to be true. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. Y'all, when I say that was my 23 for me. Like, he's been a present help. He's been a source of comfort. He has been literally my redeemer. Like, he's literally like redeemed me to myself. He's given me the tools that I need to like walk out this year. And so I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And so even though like the last 60 days of the year, honestly, the whole year just didn't go the way that I had hoped and planned, I'm still very grateful for that insight, because what I feel like he was doing was preparing me for this year. Now I don't have to create the plan from scratch. I know exactly what I need to do to achieve the things that I want to achieve in 2024. I know exactly what I need to do to remain in his presence, to take care of my body physically, to take care of my like spirit man, to take care of my mind mentally. Like, the roadmap is set, and that's because he had me do the work and lay the foundation. And in November, when I was starting to implement the things, he gave me just a small little taste of the inner peace and things that I would feel from putting that plan into place. And so, no, I was not able to carry out the 60 days in full, but I'm walking into 2024 fully equipped and really just excited about what this year has to offer. I don't know if I'm going to do like a vision board. I kind of like the idea of a prayer board now. Like, I think I just might want to submit some things to God in prayer, but I've already done that in my journal, so I don't know if I need to make like a visual representation of it. I'm still not sure yet, but normally going into the year, I have like a list of things that I want to accomplish, and this year it's really not that many things on that list. They're not very like specific things. They're just more just like, God, this is where I want to be. This is what I would like. And if it's in your will, then you show me the specifics. You show me the roadmap. You show me the way as you've done before. And yeah, that is kind of like what I'm going into the new year with. I'm super excited. I hope you all were able to get like some type of blessing or something out of this video of the behind the scenes of my life for 2023. I hope y'all are feeling inspired, and I hope that this video was helpful for some of you. And I'm looking forward to 2024. I'm looking forward to more girl chats like this and just like really connecting on a more meaningful level. We still gonna do the fashions, girl. We're still gonna do the fashions. We're still gonna do the makeup. You all have some vacation vlogs and stuff like that coming your way, but I'm excited. And I hope you're excited for 2024. I pray that 2024 gives you everything your heart desires. I pray that it's a year that you all get closer to God, that you all find your own revelations, you all are able to chart your own paths. And if we do this video again next year, or this year, because by the time this is posted, it's 2024, it'll be a different type of video. I'll be telling you guys how I've overcome like some of these things, and hopefully we'll be talking about my mom's deliverance and all of that type of stuff as well. And I'm just really looking forward to it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was long. I really appreciate you if you made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to welcome you to the family. I would love to make it to 10K by like the end of January, hopefully. Wishful thinking, but hopefully. And yeah, I can't wait to do this year with you guys. I'll see you beautiful people in my next one. Smooches. Love is a one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give